Hello, this is going to be an astrology video about Sebastian Rogers. Someone sent me a birth time, and if it is accurate, when he was born, his rising sign was Scorpio at 26 degrees. Okay, so his first house begins at 26 degrees Scorpio. He has Mars and the Sun at 15 degrees Sagittarius. Okay, he has Mercury at 22 degrees Sagittarius. The asteroids Lake and River are 26 degrees Sagittarius, as well as Black Moon Lilith. So we have the Lake, River, and Black Moon Lilith at 26 degrees Sagittarius. I put close family members in, not because I suspect them or because I'm accusing them of anything, but just because they are a part of his life. We have Chris at 29 degrees Sagittarius in the second house. Pluto is at 0 degrees in the second. Jupiter is at 23 degrees Capricorn in the second. And Venus at 29 degrees Capricorn in the second. And then in the third, we have the North Node at 10 degrees in Aquarius. I used the asteroid for Cell, C-E-L-L-E. I used that for Cellar, okay? It's at 12 degrees Aquarius. We have Chiron at 17 degrees Aquarius in the third. That's the third house. We have Neptune at the 21st degree in the third house in Aquarius. His fourth house cusp begins at 4 degrees Pisces. There's the fourth house. Okay. Pisces rules places like water, murky places, cellars, basements, things of that nature. He has Uranus at 18 degrees, which is the devil's degree, in Pisces at 18 degrees in the fourth. He has the moon at 4 degrees Aries. That's Aries. 4 degrees Aries in the fourth. He has nothing in the fifth. In the sixth house, his father's asteroid appears, Seth. Like I said, not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just showing close family members and where they fall in his birth chart. And Seth falls at 5 degrees Taurus in the sixth house. His seventh house begins at 26 degrees Taurus, which is Algol. The fixed star Algol appears there. And his seventh house mostly encompasses a little bit of Taurus and mostly Gemini. Okay, and Gemini rules the immediate surroundings. It also rules the thief, the criminal, etc. And so that's why I believe that whoever took him was someone who lived nearby. Okay, and then the eighth house, we have, I always plug in my name because I want to see where I fall in the chart. And I fall in the eighth house. There's my asteroid for Melissa at 2 degrees Cancer. His asteroid, Sebastian, falls at 7 degrees Cancer in the eighth. His mother, 11 degrees Cancer in the eighth. And this could indicate that she had a home birth because Cancer rules the home. That may not necessarily be a fact, but it could. The 18th degree is the vertex, and the vertex deals with fate, and it's at the 18th degree, which is the devil's degree. And somewhere I came across the asteroid Latimer. I believe I heard a psychic mention the word Latimer, and there is a Latimer Lane near there. That may have been where he was picked up or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe he was walking around and found himself there, and that's where he was taken because the 8th house deals with kidnappings and things like that. So Latimer falls at 24 degrees Cancer in the 8th house. Then here in the 9th house, we have the part of fortune at 8 degrees in Leo. Okay, and in the 10th house, we have Saturn in Virgo at 21 degrees. In the 11th house, we have, I plugged in Reading here because there was an astrologer that she was doing location astrology, and one of the planetary lines went through the Red River area. So I just wanted to see where that might fall in the chart. So I used the asteroid for Reading just to try to get close. It's at 24 degrees Libra in the 11th. And this is someone, I'm calling him Elmer. Okay, falling in the 11th house. And it's someone that I kind of think might be involved. And so I'll just call him Elmer for now, because there's no proof against him or anything like that. And like I said, I don't call people out using astrology and tarot and whatnot because I just don't have any proof. And so I'm just going to call him Elmer, and he's falling in the 11th house. And Libra rules things like neighbors and things like that. But that doesn't mean that I'm calling out somebody that lives next door or somewhere behind the house or across the street or anything like that. It would just be someone in the neighborhood, which is maybe a 5-mile radius. A neighborhood can contain a lot of people. And so it falls at 10 degrees Libra. Okay, and then the 12th house begins at about 4 degrees Scorpio, and it goes to 26 degrees Scorpio. And the 12th house deals with loss, seclusion, sorrows, troubles, and secrets. And in his case, like I said, it's ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio is things like kidnappings and, really unsavory characters and whatnot, because we're talking about a crime chart. And so we're looking at the negative and bad aspects of every sign, of every house, etc. Now, a lot of people have compared this case to the Summer Wells case. And when I look at this chart, I can kind of understand why, because the 911 call of that case, the chart begins at 26 degrees Scorpio. Okay, and so that might be why these cases are compared so much to each other and whatnot. But as far as we know, they are completely unrelated. But I'm just pointing that out, that may be why there's so much comparison between the two cases. Also, I find it interesting that Black Moon Lilith, River, and Lake are all conjunct, because Black Moon Lilith deals with kidnappings. Okay? The mythology behind Black Moon Lilith is a woman who kidnapped children out of their cribs, basically. She would just go into a room and take someone's child from their home. And it's falling in Sagittarius at 26 degrees, right along with the asteroid for River and Lake. So I kind of wonder, when he disappeared, was he near a river or lake? Okay, some sort of body of water? Because according to dowsing, he left the house on his own, and I guess he just went for a walk and met someone that perhaps lured him into their vehicle, and he hasn't been seen since. And of course, at the time he was born, he didn't know Chris yet. So at the time he was born, since Chris falls into the second house, Chris was probably involved in buying and selling and doing whatever he did for a living or whatever, because, that's where he's showing up in the chart. And by the way, I don't have any, what you call it, preconceived notions about the parents or step parents or anything like that, because the other methods I use, I can't see where they are indicated. So, and even if I did think so, I wouldn't put that in a public video or anything like that, because there's no proof against them. They are an Amber Alert family as far as I'm concerned at this time, because they haven't been arrested for anything. They haven't been charged with anything. So, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, they're just an Amber Alert family. So I just want to make that clear. I find this very interesting because this is the third house. And this is the neighborhood. Probably an area within about a 5-mile radius of the home. And we have the north node of destiny here. And, the north node is described as the mouth of the dragon, and the south node, which would be across the street over here in Leo, would be what's known as the tail of the dragon. I'm sorry, I can't speak very well. Okay, so the north node is where you're going, or what you need to do, or where you need to go. And the south node is what you need to get rid of, or what will be gotten rid of, or what will leave your life, or what needs to leave your life. Okay, and it's in Aquarius. And Aquarius is outdoors. It's places like dams, rivers, fresh water, that sort of thing. And it's conjunct the asteroid I used for Stellar. And a stellar is an interesting thing because it's outdoors most of the time, but it's also underground. So it's kind of a mixed bag right there when you think of what a stellar is. And then you have Chiron, okay, which is the wounded healer, a wound that won't heal, that sort of thing. And it's in Aquarius in the third house as well. And you have Neptune, which is things like photography, film, pictures, minorities, mysteries, that sort of thing. And they are all in Aquarius. And Aquarius also in a crime chart rules, perversions. Sorry. And people who have some pretty unsavory intentions as far as that goes. Also, Neptune rules things like chemistry, plastics, chemists, that sort of thing. And they're all falling in the third house of the neighborhood. Okay? And so there's plenty of reason here to be aware or to be concerned about anybody's neighborhood, but particularly this one, because of the north node being here, the stellar being here, the wounded healer, the wound that won't heal being here, and also Neptune, which is some pretty shifty characters. People involved in, like I said, film, drugs, alcohol, that sort of thing, all being in his immediate environment in the third house of, like I said, the immediate environment and the neighborhood. Now, the fourth house is endings, the womb and the tomb, the beginning and the end, and so on. And here we have Uranus, and it's at the 18th degree, which is the devil's degree. And so, this is things that are subterranean. The fourth house is what is unseen, okay? And I think it's interesting that it also encompasses part of Aries. And we have the moon here as well. And the moon is mothers and children, nourishment, and so on. And I think it does describe his mother because Aries rules people with red hair and whatnot. And she appears to be a redhead, and so I think this accurately describes her. And also, it's ruled by, this part is ruled by Pisces. Uranus is ruled by Pisces here, or Uranus is in Pisces. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. And Uranus, again, is outdoors, but subterranean, because Pisces rules subterranean and things that are unseen, but Uranus rules the outdoors. And it's at the devil's degree. And he has two things going on at the 18th degree. Please excuse the way I'm talking. I don't know why I can't talk today. The vertex is also at 18 degrees. So we have a trine between the vertex, which is a point of fate, in the 8th house, which is kidnappers and robbers and whatnot. And it's trining Uranus, which is things like perversions, outdoors, dams, fresh water, and whatnot. And they're trining each other. And trine is a harmonious aspect, which creates ease, usually. But in this case, not so much. But also, interestingly, Uranus also deals with technology, things like computers and whatnot. And I was saying earlier that I heard a spirit box session, and it was about an hour of nothing but Minecraft technology, terminology. I'm sorry. I just can't talk today. Minecraft terminology. Okay, and you have mines. That's subterranean. Okay, and so this is, like I said, the final result, the endings, the womb and the tomb, and so on. And so I think this also alludes to something having to do with technology, online, Minecraft. To me, these two just equal Minecraft, because you have the subterranean here with Pisces, and then you have the technology here with Uranus. And so, like I said, if that was involved, whoever was communicating with him or whatever, apparently did a really good job of deleting all their activity. They really knew what they were doing. And, of course, the moon deals with missing people. Okay. But it's usually, the moon is usually about children 5 and under. But it's showing up in the 4th house with Aries, in Aries, actually. And so, his father is law enforcement, and that is Aries. And his father has done quite a bit of searching for him, and I think that shows here because the moon represents missing people. Now, I wanted to say a word about that. It's my understanding that law enforcement tells families to limit their searching to things like putting out posters and television appearances, pleading for the return of their child and things like that. They really don't want family members going out and doing ground and water searches and things like that, because that could contaminate a crime scene. Like what if they did stumble upon the missing person? That could throw up a lot of issues for law enforcement and the family member. And so, some of these folks, when they have a missing child, they get a lot of criticism. Why aren't they looking for their child? Well, it's because they've been told by law enforcement to not do that. And so, that's another reason why I want to give the benefit of the doubt and not criticize these people for not going out in boats with sonar and not going out on foot and searching the woods and things like that is because law enforcement told them not to. As far as I know, that's my understanding of what law enforcement does. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go now to, okay. He disappeared during the season of Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. Or it might have been early Pisces when he disappeared. So he disappeared somewhere in this range right here. And so this would be a time of year that, that would be an area of concern. And I think that it's really interesting that the 4th house cusp falls during that time period, which was, I think, the 25th or 26th of February. And so, like I said, I find that very interesting too. And that, the 3rd house and the 4th house cusp somewhere in between there. And I think that someone in his maybe 5-mile radius neighborhood is involved in the disappearance during this time frame. And then when we look at the 8th house, which is about kidnappings, and the underlying sign of the 8th house is Scorpio. And so that's why I'm saying the 8th house is about that. It's about birth, rebirth, death, things like that. And so, of course, Sebastian is showing up here in his birth chart at the time he's born at 7 degrees. And if I'm not mistaken, the 7th degree is the widow's degree. It also aligns with the sign of Libra, which is like law enforcement, open to enemies, etc., and so on. And that's where his asteroid is falling. And, sure enough, a few years later, he is the subject of a possible kidnapping. I just find that very interesting. And then the 9th house rules like the judicial system and the courts and whatnot. And this is his fortune. This is where the fortune is found, this part of fortune, the circle with a cross in it. And somehow, some way, his fortune lies within the 9th house of the judicial system and the courts and everything that the 9th house rules, like judges and things like that. And it's in the sign of Leo. And Leo is basically in astrology God. And so there may be an act of God in his case that causes him to be found. And also Leo rules people with red hair, yellow hair, blondes, and so on. And so it could be that his fortune will be found with someone meeting that description of Leo. And so, I find that interesting also. Now, Virgo, when he went missing, if I'm not mistaken, the moon was in the late degrees of Virgo. When he was born, Virgo fell in the 10th house. 4 degrees is his MC, or medium coeli, which deals with fame. And he is, in a sense, a famous person. But it's falling within Virgo. And Virgo rules runaways in a crime chart. So, I'm inclined to think, like I said, I don't believe he intentionally ran away. I believe he walked out of the house on his own. And, it just kind of went from there. Probably picked up by an older person. Of course, it wasn't hard to be older than him because he was 15, but This implies somebody over the age of probably 40 or 45 because this is Saturn. Okay, and Saturn is aged men. All right, and it's at 21 degrees, and there's something here I meant to talk about. Okay, Mercury is in his first house of self, and it's at 22 degrees. 22 degrees is fight or flight, kill or be killed. And Mercury rules Virgo, which rules runaways. Mercury also rules the third house, which is the neighborhood. And he was involved in Minecraft, if I'm not mistaken. He was playing that game online. And it's at 22 degrees, which I find that interesting because of the involvement with the second house, the underlying second house, or the underlying sign of Gemini, I'm sorry, because Gemini is the underlying sign here in the third house. And, you know, its relationship to Virgo also, which, like I said, rules runaways. And so I didn't ask this question when I was dowsing, but it's possible that he went out to meet someone. But, you know, I'm really not sure about that part. And Sagittarius is weaponry and equestrian, horses, bows and arrows, fighting, that kind of thing, which aligns with this communication, technology, and things like this. Actually, that's more Aquarius technology is, but Mercury is also, it's more like communication. Okay, communication about warfare and fighting and things like that. And so that's just what I'm seeing in this birth chart for right now. Also, there's a 13th sign that a lot of astrologers deny, and it falls somewhere in here, okay? And it's called Ophiuchus. And Ophiuchus means the snake bearer. And we learned about him that he loved snakes. And I think that really shows here with the sun being right here in this area of the snake bearer. And Mercury also. So, you know, that kind of just describes his personality a little bit. But as far as where I think he is, and that's the most important thing, I think he's subterranean, okay? I think he was picked up by an unsavory character, okay? And I believe it's in his neighborhood because we have Neptune here in the third house, Stellar in the third house, Chiron, the wound that won't heal, the wounded healer. Also this north node here, which is like a point of destiny. And I believe that his fortune will probably have something to do with something having to do with law enforcement. Okay, a person with light-colored hair, red hair, orange hair, red hair, mostly yellow usually. Like, well, you think of a lion. You think of a lion's mane. And who do we know that has that, that's working on this case? So yeah. One more thing I wanted to say. There are two astrologers here on YouTube, and they do location astrology. One is Juniper, Tarot and Astrology, and the other one is the forensic astrologer, Kirsty Macintosh, and they have both done location astrology on Sebastian. And they both came up with the same areas, and I believe he's in an area south of his home, near the Cumberland River. I'm not accusing anyone that lives on the Cumberland River down there. I'm saying he could be in an area where he could be on somebody's property and they don't know it. Something to that effect. So I'm not accusing anybody of living down there. But the Cumberland River down there, it takes the shape of kind of a W. And that made me think of this. If you turn this upside down, you have a W. And, of course, Scorpio is the 12th house of loss, sorrows, troubles, and secrets. And so, yeah, I think he's in that area. Like I said, it could be on somebody's property that totally doesn't know that he's there. So the possibilities are endless there, so I'm not calling anybody out that lives down there near the Cumberland River, okay? Not anybody in particular. So I'm just saying that's where I believe he is. And I believe, like I said, he's in a cellar, subterranean, south of his home, that sort of thing. So check out Juniper, Tarot, and Astrology, and look for her video on Sebastian. I'll try to put the links below. And also Kirsty Macintosh, the forensic astrologer. I'll put her links below too. And I think you'll find it very interesting. Thank you.